The other day, I was on the phone with my old friend Mike. We were catching up, talking about the kids, the grandchildren, and eventually, as it often does with us, the conversation turned to faith. And he let out this big sigh. He said, I try to pray. I sit down in my chair in the morning with my coffee. I open the book, but nothing. It feels like I'm just talking to the ceiling. My mind wanders to the grocery list, to that appointment I have later. I just feel empty and dry. After all these years, shouldn't it be easier? Shouldn't I feel something? And I just listened. Because if you're over a certain age, I'd bet my bottom dollar you've felt exactly what Mike was describing. That feeling that your prayers are just hitting the roof and bouncing back. That spiritual dryness. Therefore, today, let's talk about something we don't say out loud often enough. Let's ask the question, do you struggle to pray sometimes? And more importantly, let's see what the ancient wisdom of the church has to say about it. Because I promise you, you are not alone, and this might not be the problem you think it is. To start, I want to take us back to a story that gripped the entire world, one I know we all remember. October 2010, the Chilean miner rescue. Remember that? 33 miners, trapped a half-mile underground for a staggering 69 days. The world watched, holding its breath, as rescue crews drilled that narrow shaft. We saw the incredible moment when the first miner, Florencio Avalos, was pulled to safety in that tiny Phoenix capsule. The cheers, the tears, the utter joy. But what happened down in that dark, hot, airless mine for those 69 days before the rescue? That's the part we often forget. Early on, they had very little food. They were surrounded by complete darkness. They had no idea if anyone on the surface even knew they were alive. Hope was a scarce commodity. And what did they do? They did the only thing they could. They organized. They rationed their tiny bits of food. They assigned jobs. And they prayed. They prayed together every single day, even when it felt like their prayers were going nowhere. They prayed out of sheer desperation, out of habit, out of a flicker of faith, even when they felt nothing but fear. Their prayer wasn't about feeling good. It was about survival. Therefore, their story is a perfect, powerful icon for what the church calls the struggle of prayer. It's not about having warm, fuzzy feelings. It's about the faithful, daily work of staying connected to God, especially when you feel trapped in the dark. This is where it gets personal for us. Many of us were taught to pray as children. We said our rote prayers before bed. And that's good. But as we get older, we can sometimes feel like we've outgrown that. We want a deeper, more mature prayer life. And when we don't feel that profound connection, we think we're failing. Maybe you're Protestant and you're told to just have faith and feel the Spirit's presence. And when you don't, you wonder what's wrong with your faith. Maybe you're Catholic and you've gone to Mass every Sunday for 50 years. You say the prayers, but your mind wanders during the homily and you're thinking about the roast in the oven. And you leave feeling the same as when you came in. Here's the crucial, liberating truth that the church teaches. That feeling of dryness, that struggle, it is not a sign of failure. It is often a sign of growth. It's the shift from praying because it feels good to praying because it is good. It's moving from a relationship based on consolation to a relationship based on commitment. It's the hard, unglamorous work of love. The great saints talked about this all the time. Saint Teresa of Calcutta wrote for years in her private letters about her intense feeling of God's absence, of the silence. But she never stopped praying, never stopped serving. Her faith wasn't in her feelings, it was in her God. So what does the church practically advise for us when we hit these dry patches? First, be gentle with yourself. God is not a divine scorekeeper, deducting points for a wandering mind. He is a loving Father who delights that you showed up to spend time with Him. The very act of showing up, in your emptiness, is a powerful prayer in itself. Second, don't give up the routine. This is so important for us. The structure of the rosary, the liturgy of the hours, even just reading the daily readings, these are the lifelines. They are like the daily rations for the miners. They sustain you when your own emotional resources are gone. You don't rely on the feeling, you rely on the habit. You trust that the drill is still turning on the surface, even if you can't hear it down in the dark. And third, try changing your prayer from talking to listening. Instead of filling the silence with requests, just sit for 5 minutes. Say, Lord, I'm here. I'm listening. And then just be. It might feel awkward at first, but you're making space. You reshifting from a conversation where you do all the talking to one where you are open to hearing something back. My friend Mike felt like a failure because his prayer felt dry. But I told him what I'm telling you. That dry, faithful, daily perseverance is arguably a more mature and powerful faith than any emotional high. It's the faith of the miners in the dark. It's the faith of Jesus in Gethsemane, saying, "Not my will, but yours be done." It's the faith that says, "I will love you and seek you, God, even when I can't feel you." And that is a prayer he will never, ever ignore. So what do you think? Does this resonate with your experience? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Tell me, what's your biggest struggle with prayer? And if this gave you a little comfort and a new perspective, please hit that like button and share it with a friend who you know needs to hear it today. Thanks for spending this time with me. God bless.